All right, welcome in to a very special Friday Final Four episode of the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kobold, here with my guy, Ben Powell, making his third appearance on the show. Ben,
Thanks for having me.
first off, right off the bat, Ben, congratulations to you for winning the ESPN Tournament
Mm,
Challenge that we ran this year. We had
mm.
32 people, 20 bones a bracket. And you say, well, Kobreezy, there's still games to be played. Well, guess what? Nobody else has any points remaining. Ben has UConn as his champion. He's currently in first place. Nobody else can pass him. Ben Powell, how does it feel taking home 500 bones and being the champion of the 2023 ESPN Tournament Challenge?
Woo! It feels good. Feels good. Man, I needed that money too. Needed that money. I love it. I had no idea that you had that many people in the bracket. I didn't really
Yeah,
glance that hard at how many people were there. I thought it was going to be like maybe $200, $500.
500 for
That's a
first.
month.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy. Go Huskies.
go Huskies indeed. They're the only Final Four pick remaining for you, and I believe Brad, our buddy Brad, picked UConn in the Final Four, but nobody else had a Final Four team correct. And shout out to you, Ben, for taking home $500. Hell yeah!
Can
And
we just briefly how crazy of a year this is that I already have it locked in. I already have a locked in win before the Final Four game started, and I only have one Final Four team right. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
I, did, I had Purdue and UConn in the championship. I had a team that lost in the first round was one of my championship teams, and
go
I've already
Boilers.
won the
Yeah,
bracket.
and you
That's
and
how
you
crazy
still
it has
won.
been.
You lost your runner up in the first round, and
Lost
you
my run
still freaking won.
first round, man. That's crazy. So
That
that yeah,
is crazy.
if that's not indicative of how this year has been in March Madness, I mean, it's madness.
It's definitely madness. So if you won this year, you either got lucky or you had the Huskies in the Final Four,
Oh, okay. Oh,
and in our case, you had the Huskies in the Final Four. So hats off to you, Ben. I'm happy that
I think I had Miami in my Elite Eight, so that I think that probably was what sealed it.
that's a lot of points right there. Hats off to you, Ben. I'm happy the money's going to you. There's a couple queefs in this pool that I wouldn't be happy about winning, So you I'm happy about. But
Oh, we won't.
some
All right.
something something that you weren't too happy about though, Ben, was a
Mm.
smacking that the Maryland Terrapins took by the Alabama Crimson Tide in
Yeah.
the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Now Maryland surprised
Hey.
me by coming back against West Virginia in that first round. My mom's alma mater, West
Yeah.
Virginia. And West Virginia jumped
I
out
remember
to a.
your prediction on that game was in favor of West Virginia. You had Huggins.
You're right. They jumped out to a big lead, and I thought that baby was over. And Maryland stormed back and ended up winning a close one there, but then they got a ass beaten. What was it, 73-51, Alabama? Ben, give us your
Uh,
closing thoughts on
yeah.
Maryland.
Closing thoughts. I'm happy they won that first game. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not that upset about that loss. It's 100% what I predicted, what I would have expected. A 20. I said it was gonna be a 20-point loss if they won that first game. I'm just happy they got the one win with this team. I mean, I'm not happy. Nobody's ever happy to see their team lose in the second round, but it's nothing that I didn't see coming. 22 point loss. Yeah, it's painful, but it's pretty much what I expected. Unfortunately, they just don't have the NBA talent to that Alabama has to really compete with that type of shit. But silver lining, I did just hear the other day that Jameer Young is officially coming back for his COVID senior year, so that's huge for us. We need that point guard and that
Big time.
scoring. So yeah, we're gonna have at least one of our seniors coming back as a super senior, and I am predicting now that I think Hakeem Hart and Dante Scott are gonna come back too. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. What the fuck else are they gonna go do? So that they might be pretty solid next year. I'm gonna call that right now. I think they might be a Big Ten contender. And I don't see another team that's going to have a whole bunch of people that want to like really come back. And since the transfer portal and everything, you never know who's gonna come back. But I really would be very surprised if Hakeem Hart and Dante Scott didn't come back. So that could be huge.
Nice. With
Look
those
out for
guys,
the Terps next year in the Big Ten.
can you guarantee a top 3 finish in the Big Ten from the Terps? We freeze.
Can I guarantee a top 3 finish? Yes, I'm gonna guarantee it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna guarantee it right now. Top 3 finish for the Terps next year in the Big Ten. It's happening.
Nice, nice.
Calling it.
I like it. I like it. Well, the team that took them down was Alabama, and that's going to get us right into our Sweet 16 and Elite Eight previews. We're going to look back at these 12 games real quick, and starting with the South, we had a big upset. My champion, Alabama. I picked the Crimson Tide. If the boys are balling, the shots are falling, but they were not falling against San Diego State. The Aztecs take them down 71-64. Alabama shot 3 for 27 from 3. That's 11%, Ben. 3 for 27.
Bro, that's a night to remember in not a good way. You know, those they aren't gonna forget that next year. That's a
Not gonna
lot of
forget that. It's a lot of bricks. And
that is a
speaking of bricks, Brandon Miller threw up a few bricks himself. In this game, he shot 3 for 19, 1 for 10 from 3 for 9 points. He was 1 for 10 from deep for 9 points. In this tournament, speaking of Brandon Miller, in this tournament, this guy had more turnovers. He had 10 turnovers in the tournament. He had more turnovers than field goals. He only had 8 made shots in the tournament. He had more turnovers than buckets.
Yikes, bro. That is not a recipe for winning, and that's exactly what happened. Maybe you think maybe his charges and his not his charges, whatever's going on with him legally, it might have had something psychologically to do with that, getting in his head a little bit.
I think it had to have been, Ben. If we don't know, you can look back on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast on YouTube. We covered this in detail. Brandon Miller supplied the gun in a murder back in January in Tuscaloosa. And we saw that he was being accompanied by security guards, and he was reportedly receiving threats upon entering the NCAA tournament. So that on a teenager, yeah, I think that will weigh on you mentally. We saw.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, how old is this kid? He's probably what, 18, 19, 20 years old?
Yeah.
Not even like 18.
18, 19
I mean,
has to be.
I can't even imagine.
We
cannot imagine the pressure and the just all the attention, negative attention. That's going to get in your head, especially if you're in the middle.
Yeah,
of such a huge state. That's surprising to me at all that he kind of.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's deserved. Not saying at all that's not deserved. All I'm saying is it is not surprising to me to see them to see him struggle in the tournament on that big of a stage with that much pressure, that much attention. Yeah, not surprising. I mean, the results are a little surprising just from the whole team. Sure. I mean, I didn't see Alabama losing that game, but
no.
You know, hindsight 2020. Now it's kind of like,
yeah. We saw this week Brandon Miller declared for the NBA draft. ESPN projects him as a top 5 pick. More turnovers than field goals in this tournament. I think your draft stock's going to fall a little bit. And he's the only player since 1960 to shoot under 20% on over 40 attempts in the tournament. He took over 40 shots and shot under 20%. He's the only player since 1960 to do that.
Yeah. Oh. It's not something you want to go down in history for, that's for sure.
No. Also in this game, San Diego State had 28 bench points, which was 12 more than Alabama. And in San Diego State, they're actually the first ever team out of the Mountain West Conference to reach the Elite Eight. And now we know they're in the Final Four, but no Mountain West Conference team had ever reached the Elite Eight. So shout out Aztecs.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's great for the conference. Yeah. I mean, I did watch this game. It was a good game. Alabama had a 9-point lead with like 12 minutes left, I think, or 11 something left, and they were up 9. And then some dude named I never heard of him, Trammell, took
Yeah.
over, man. He had like an
Transfer.
8-0 run on his own.
Yeah.
He nailed a 3, and then he had a steal and a bucket, and then another 3 to put him down 1, and that was like the tide turner there. no, no pun intended there on the tide. But yeah,
That was a good one.
that crappy D that led to like a 10-point fucking lead eventually. Pretty crazy. I did not see that coming at all. Like when I saw Alabama up 9 with 12 minutes, I was like, this shit's over. I mean, even with
Sure.
Brandon Miller, they have so many other great players. I thought it was over,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh yeah.
prop off to, and not just in this game, but continuing on, SDSU props. I mean, everybody slept on this team. Everybody. I mean, I will say you didn't. You did give them at least the Sweet 16
I
run,
did.
which
Yeah.
I think I did too. No, no, no. Yeah, I did. I had them over Virginia because I didn't have any faith in them. But nobody saw this game. I don't think even you saw this one being a win for
No
SCSU.
way. No way.
Yeah.
Uh, we got a couple more things on San Diego State here in a bit. Definitely didn't see them taking down Bama. They were my champion. Just to
Mm-hmm.
close out things on Alabama right now, as a program, they are 1-9 all time in the Sweet 16. 1-9 all time in the Sweet 16, Alabama. And then Nate Oates. Everybody loves Nate Oates, right? Everybody thinks he's a great coach. He's been to
Mm-hmm.
the tournament 6 times. He's been in the tournament 6 times. He has
Has he really?
one. Yeah, I believe Buffalo. Buffalo was the school that landed him the Bama job. But he only has one win over a single digit seed in the tournament. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's pump the brakes on Nate Oates in Alabama. Let's pump
I
the
like it.
brakes.
I mean, I'm only saying that because I don't like Alabama. You know, they're a football school. You don't need to be a basketball school too. Stick in your lane.
Don't get
I don't know.
greedy.
Don't be greedy. no, no, I don't know. I don't know. They're fine. It's whatever. But Nate Oates, yeah, okay. I'm glad to hear that he's maybe a little overrated.
He might be overrated, boss. And his comments about Brandon Miller being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's the part that actually rubs me a little bit the wrong way. It's like,
Yep.
what are we
Lost a
going to
lot of
protect?
respect.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck Alabama. Fuck them.
Fuck the Tide. We'll see you next year.
I was. Let me just say, I was very happy to see them lose. I will say that.
Yeah. Moving to the other Sweet 16 game in the South, Creighton beat Princeton 86-75. If you watched this podcast last week, the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast, you heard me predict a double-digit smacking from the Blue Jays, and it was only 11, but that's still double digits. So come on.
Yeah.
Creighton shot 58% from the field. They were plus 11 on the boards. Kalkbrenner
58.
had 20.
Oh, Creighton did. I thought you said Princeton. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, okay.
Creighton shot 58% from the floor, plus 11 on the boards. Kalkbrenner had 22, Shireman had 21, and Alexander had 19. It was the starters. The starters lead Baylor, or the starters lead Creighton.
Yeah, yeah. I actually
Surprisingly,
did watch. I did not watch this game, but I didn't need to.
you didn't need to.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the Princeton Tigers only had 5 turnovers in this game, so a pretty clean game from Princeton. Shout
Yeah.
out to Princeton. I want to say the
Yeah.
fourth ever 15 seed to make the Sweet 16. Shout out you
That's
guys. Hell of a
incredible. Yeah,
season.
props. Yeah. No shame in that, man. Hey, Creighton was a good team this year. That is nothing to be. I mean, Shireman is really good. Who's that other big white dude?
Kalkbrenner.
The Cockburner. Every game I saw of Creighton, that dude was just dominating the entire game.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
was
He's
just
great.
nobody
He's
could
great.
guard him. He was he's just so tall. It's like he's just one of those like nightmare matchups that you're trying to
Yeah.
figure out, just can't. So yeah, props to Princeton. Even only losing by 11 to that team is incredible. But I mean, winning 2 games,
Hell yeah.
their coach deserves some serious recognition for that.
But
Well done.
gonna get some money too. Gonna get some money.
Yep.
Kalkbrenner, I believe he's the 2-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, so he's getting it done on both sides of the floor.
A lot of blocks. Yeah.
a lot of blocks. But he ran up into a team in San Diego State on was that Sunday. It was Sunday in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I
San
think it
Diego
was.
State. San Diego State is big. They won this game 57-56 on a last second free throw. Ben, was that a
Yeah.
foul on Ryan Nemhard? Are you call, if you're wearing the
Uh,
stripes, if you're the zebra, are
I
you
was
blowing your whistle
absolutely not. I
or
would have swallowed my
swallowing it?
whistle on
You
that.
swallowing it.
I would have let that go to overtime. That is a bad foul call in my opinion. It wasn't a foul. It wasn't a foul. Especially, I mean, I'm a strong proponent of it doesn't matter what stage of the game it is. This isn't the NBA, okay? You're not gonna call. I don't think that the ref should be making calls based on what the situation is. And I know a lot of people disagree with that. No, but I don't
Yeah.
agree. I think if it's a foul, and you call it. But I don't think that was a foul. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough call. If you're not calling that, if you're not calling the hand on the hip, if you're not calling that all game, you can't call it there.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would never want to be a ref in that situation. I mean, that's tough because
that is
you
definitely tough.
gotta make an you're an in the moment decision. Splits that you don't get really. You can't reverse the foul call once you've
No.
made it. It's made. That's another reason why I think it shouldn't have been made. And I know I just said that I'm not a proponent of that situation, but I know all those people that are going to look at that and say, "Hell no, that's not a foul." So, and I agree. I don't. It's not enough of a foul even to even really have an argument to say they should have called that at that point in the game.
It's a sad way to lose. Like they had
It
a
really is.
chance that they had a baseball pass down there and it got tipped out of bounds and time ran out and it took 15 minutes to play the last 5 seconds of that game. But
Mm-hmm.
a very unfortunate way to lose.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to shout out the Blue Jays real quick for their free throw shooting
Woo!
in
Yeah.
this in this tournament. First game against NC State, they went 17 for 19. Then against Baylor, they went 22 for 22, tying a single game record in the NCAA tournament for free throws made without a miss. Next
You
game
know how
against Princeton.
a true college basketball fan to hear if they're a Creighton fan to hear that they made all of their 22 free throws in a if my
Clutch.
Terps would do that in a game,
Meters.
I would be so happy with the loss at that point. I'd be like, you know what, that
Yeah.
yeah.
So Creighton free throws 17 for 19 against NC State, 22 for 22 against Baylor, then 13 for
Woo.
16 against Princeton, and then 10 for 11 against San Diego State here. That
Is that a
gives
record?
them 62 for 68, 91%. Did not end up being a tournament record, but
Ooh, for 68.
the
That's not
91%.
like just like if you were to tell me that the record was 92% or whatever, I'd be like, okay, well maybe somebody took like 4 foul shots and made 4 out of 5 or whatever.
There's got to
What that
got to
math
be a
wrong.
threshold. Got to be a
Yeah,
threshold there.
in the 60s, that's a lot of free throws made, man. That's incredible.
62 for 68. And on the season, Creighton shot 78.3% from the line, which is a school record. Go Blue Jays.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually I don't know. I'm a little bit sad in a way that Creighton didn't win a game, especially the way they went out. I think Creighton has a better chance, would have had a better chance against either UConn or Miami or FAU for that matter. I think SDSU is my. We can get into this later, but I don't. They're my least favorite to win at this point, and I really think Creighton would have had a. They would have been my most. As somebody who's rooting for UConn because of some of my bets that I've made, I would have been most concerned about them, and I feel a lot more comfortable now that they're out.
I think I'm with you there. I also believe that Creighton just ran out of juice here. They weren't playing their bench. In this game specifically, bench minutes, San Diego State had 73 bench minutes as Creighton had 16. 73 to 16 bench minutes, just more depth. I think Creighton ran out of
Wow.
juice. I think they ran out of juice relying on the starters too much.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
Let's move on to the East here, Ben, where we had just a barn burner to start us off on Thursday. I believe this was the first game, Kansas State and Michigan State. These two teams shot the
Woo.
lights out. 98-93, the Wildcats took down the Spartans.
In
K-State
overtime.
shot in overtime, yeah. The only
First
overtime
and
game
only.
of the tournament.
Hell of
K-State
a game,
shot
man.
hell
Best
of
game
a
of the
game.
tournament, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Ben. I agree with you. K-State shot 11 of 24 from deep, while Michigan State shot 13 of 25 from deep. Michigan State shot 49% from the field, 52% from three, and 82% from the line, and was +6 on the boards and still lost.
They played incredibly, dude. Nobody was beating Kansas State in that game. That's what happened. Is Noel was not losing that game. He decided that I'm not going to lose tonight, and Michigan State played as good as they could have played to win that. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the best game they played all year. They were. I did feel like they were underrated, and I actually put some money on them to win the tournament. Like way back when I saw a couple games where I was like, they were a lot better than you'd think because the odds were so good. But man, they played their best, and nobody was beating Noel. He was not losing that game.
Nobody was beating Noel. K-State had 26 assists to 18 assists for Michigan State, and Marquise Noel had 19 of those 26 assists, which was a tournament record. Ben, what do you think about that?
That's unheard of amazing. Like I don't know if some of these viewers that you got here know how great that is, but fucking 19 assists in a game doesn't make sense. That's more assists than most people have in a season. You know, that's insane.
Yeah. Some people don't get 19 assists in a season,
and it's not just. I can't stress enough how incredible some of those passes were too. So it's not like these are just like kind of like assists. It's like half of these assists he's look away or like he's just an aggressive player. These passes are so crisp and on point. It's
Oof.
out of control. When I was watching that game, that's the game when I was texting you guys, you and Max, about and I was like, is Noel gonna make the NBA draft? Like, could somebody that's 5'8" actually do something in the NBA? And that's when I decided I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to die on this hill. Noel is making the NBA draft. He is going to be an NBA player. I'm saying, you heard it here first on the
right here.
Podcast. I'm calling it now. Noel has the range. The only thing he doesn't have is the size, and that is a very big concern. But the range is ridiculous. It is Curry level makes from fucking logo, and he'll shoot it. He's not scared at all to shoot it. He'll shoot it from anywhere. His passes are some of the best passes I've seen across the league. Name a better passer. I can't think of one.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
So yeah, I was so impressed with Noel. Most entertaining player in the entire tournament, in my opinion. And it was one of the definitely the best game of the tournament. And I would give Noel MVP of the tournament as far as at least entertainment value.
Nice. Yeah, the king of New York City right now. We saw him declare for the NBA draft, so he's putting his name in that.
Think about that. This dude is my height. I'm taller than this guy. I'm 5'9", 5'9.5".
You posting them up? You posting them up?
I'm not a large person. I go out to the fucking YMCA and try and play basketball. I'm getting my ass swatted, man. This dude is making people look stupid at 5'8".
Yeah.
That is no small feat.
So he had this tournament record, 19 assists, and you think he was just passing the ball all night. He still had 20 points and 5 steals to go along with that. 20 points and 5 steals.
I can't say enough about Noel, man. That was the most entertainment I've had in the entire tournament.
Yeah, great player to watch. Last thing on Marquise Noel here. He's the first player in tournament history to have 80+ points, 50+ assists, and 10+ steals in a tournament. And he only played 4 games. So he's the only player with 80+ points, 50+ assists, and 10+ steals. 4 games. Shout out Marquise Noel.
If he had won that next game and he had that many more stats, he would have blown that record out of the water, because every game he plays in, he gets at least 10 assists, which is incredible. Am I wrong about that? Is he averaging 10 assists. I don't know
Uh,
what I don't have the numbers in front of me, but
to have
uh,
to have to have 50 assists over 4
I can
games in
only
the
imagine.
tournament.
At least,
That's sexy. That's sexy.
yeah, I mean, just hats off, performance. Well done, Noel, and Kansas State. Great season.
Great season. Jerome Tang up there, top 5 for coach of the year for sure. Jerome Tang. Shout out Wildcats and
Yeah.
K-State. Hope some guys come
You
back and
see
we'll
him
see you
make that
again next year.
classy ass move to go into the Florida Atlantic. He went into the Florida Atlantic locker room after the game and was just hyping him up, man. That was classy. I like that.
Very
I like to see
classy.
that.
All right, moving on to the other Sweet 16 game in the East Regional. We saw the Florida Atlantic Owls take down Rick Barnes in Tennessee, 62 to 55. we all thought the Owls, their wings were going to get snipped in this one, but Tennessee only shot 33% from the floor, 26% from deep, and 58% from the line. That's not going to get it done against Dusty May and the Owls. Florida Atlantic moved on to the Elite Eight here over Rick Barnes in Tennessee.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't see this one coming. I had Tennessee in one of my other pools going on, so I wasn't thrilled about it at the time. But hey, looking back, fuck it, go Owls. I mean, Tennessee was one of those teams that I was like, they have potential. They have those games that you're like, holy shit, this team is great. They beat,
They
I
beat
think, Kansas
Alabama.
early in the,
They beat Kansas
they
and Alabama, both.
beat Kansas and they have the talent, they have the size. So I did put a little money on them just for that. But clearly, if you were to look at some of their losses and some of their issues, you would have known. A lot of people were not giving Tennessee the time of day when it came to playing Duke. So they went further than most people I think actually expected. But
Me.
FAU, yeah, nobody saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming, and nobody definitely saw the next game coming where the Owls, the Florida Atlantic Owls, took down Kansas State in the Elite Eight on Saturday, 79 to 76. Now, Ben, listen to these stats here. Florida Atlantic won the rebounding battle 44 to 22. They were +9 on the offensive rebounds. Florida Atlantic had 22 turnovers in this game, leading to 13 of those were Kansas State steals, live ball turnovers. They had 22 turnovers and still won this game. Our guy Marquise Noel had 30 points, 12 assists, and 5 steals. But
30
our
points,
30
12
points.
assists. I mean, he did not disappoint again. That game was nuts, man. That was another great game. Yeah, I did not see the result of that coming either. I mean, just a crazy tournament.
Our disappointment here was Keontae Johnson for Kansas State, only playing 18 minutes. He fouled out. That was a big factor in this game.
Yeah, they
Florida
needed him, man.
Florida Atlantic wins this game by 3. Ben, I got a trivia time for you right now here in the East Regional. Trivia
All
time
right,
for you, Ben Powell.
all
FAU,
right, all right, all right.
Florida Atlantic University. They are the third 9 seed. Oh,
Announcement.
announcement. The FAU is the third 9.
It's gonna be one of those Fridays.
Hey, it's Friday. We're shooting
Anyway,
shit, talking sports
my
with the
trivia
boys.
question. What's
Damn
my
it, you ready?
trivia question?
You ready for this damn trivia time? FAU
I'm ready. I'm ready.
is the third 9 seed to reach the Final Four. Can you give me the other 2 9 seeds to do it? One
Oh
happened
man,
with one happened about 10 years ago.
10 years ago, you said?
2013, yeah. There was a 2013 9 seed to reach the
Uh,
Final Four. Can you give me that
um,
9 seed in 2013?
what was the year? 2013.
2013.
Oh man. Um, yeah, I
It
can't
was
recall any other 9 seeds, man. I remember an 8 seed winning the whole thing. That was, I think, NC State, like back in a million years ago.
like 84, yeah.
I don't remember a 9.
It was Greg Marshall and Wichita State. The Shockers shocked the world as a 9 seed, went to the Final Four.
Hold on. Speaking of the Shockers.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
These Shockers?
We got those Shockers, baby.
Oh!
2013 Final Four team. Just got a Shocker shirt ready to go, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know me.
Wow.
I'm always looking at for random teams. Saw that earlier and was like, well, what are the fucking chances? Okay.
What are the chances?
Yeah, go Shockers. 9 seeds. Okay.
So
am I right about that on the 8 seed though? On the NC State?
Yes.
NC State won it as an 8 seed.
I believe in 1984. Yeah.
Was that that lowest seed ever to win it? Was it an 8 seed then?
I want to say so. With Jim Valvano as the coach, it was the missed shot with the tip dunk. Yeah, I believe so. But back to FAU, they're the third 9 seed. Wichita State did it in 2013, and I think people will be surprised to hear a 1979 Penn as a 9 seed went to the Final Four out of the Ivy League. I think people will be surprised about that one, Ben.
Oh,
so shout out!
I have not heard that one. Yeah,
shout out Owls.
Go Owls!
Going to the Final Four, baby. Go Owls!
Yeah. That was another game that surprised everybody, I think. Yeah, we covered it.
Moving on to the Midwest. Moving on to the Midwest, we had a shocker right off the bat here. Boys, we saw a 14-point game here. Miami, 89, Houston, 75. Miami shot 52% from the floor, 44% from deep, and 84% from the free throw line.
Woo!
All five starters scored in double figures. Nigel Pack, 7 of 10 from deep. You know about Nigel Pack?
Yeah. That's the dude I wrote down here on my sheet. Pack. Holy fuck, bro. Here's my thing. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Miami slept on as fuck. So good. I would say Miami is the team that has a chance to beat UConn. Okay, I don't think either the other two teams on the other side of the bracket. I'm gonna go on record and say if UConn wins this game against Miami, it's a lock. I'm gonna hammer the fuck out of that championship game if UConn wins. Okay, but this game coming up, I'm ready for this. This is gonna be a hell of a game, Miami versus UConn. Okay,
hell yeah.
Miami has that length. They have they have like 3 guards in Wong, Miller, and
Pack.
No, well, they also have Pack. I'm talking about so maybe they're not guards, forwards and guards. Like
Poplar.
They're just like kind of the same player. They have like three copycat players that are like the same build and like that NBA style length forward type play. They've got Miller, Wong. I want to say it's like it starts with P, I think. Poplar. Miller and Wong to me are like 3 peas in a pod in the way that they play. So all the games I've seen them play, they are just very talented, very long, lean, and this team just plays very under control. They gel so well together. They make so many good passes. They don't really make a whole lot of mistakes. They're always in the right spot at the right time. Yeah. This guy Omir in the center is about the same height as all their forwards and guards. He's really not that big. Yeah, he's got the muscles, but he is always. It's not really about the muscles with this guy. It is about positioning with this guy. He is always in the right spot to get that rebound. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I can guarantee you his rebounding stats are out of control good. Yeah. This Omir guy is he destroyed Indiana single-handedly on the offensive boards, man. IU Miami was it was a pretty back and forth game, but that dude won the game for them. And then there are 3, Wong, Poplar, all those other guys came through in the other games later. But Omir has been that one centerpiece. He's not that big. And I do worry about UConn's size in this next upcoming game for him. Because he's got to go up against some serious motherfuckers. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm not kidding when I'm talking Noko and what's his name's Klingon.
Klingon.
Woo, that guy's huge. He is underrated. He's 7'2". Like what, 6 man? He's not even a
17,
starter, I don't think.
freshman,
Is he?
freshman, off the bench.
Either way, the size, he's 7'2". I mean, I don't think that that Omier is gonna be able to just like be positioned right
Right.
against him enough to get that many rebounds. But yeah, I'm so excited about this UConn Miami matchup, man. I think this is
Well,
gonna be a great game. I really do.
let's get into that matchup once we get to the Final Four preview.
Yeah, yeah. I'm skipping ahead.
You skipping ahead on me here, Ben.
Hey, I've had a few.
Hey, that's expected on a Friday. That's expected on a Friday. So just to finish this Miami-Houston game, 89-75. These 89 points that Miami scored in this game, Houston hasn't allowed 89 points in over 5 seasons. 5 seasons, Houston hasn't allowed 89 points. And then a fun fact for us here, Miami is the third team seated fifth or lower to go to back-to-back Elite Eights. The third team seated fifth or lower to go to back-to-back Elite Eights. 86-87 LSU did it, and 2010-2011 Butler and Brad
Yeah.
Stevens did it. So it going to back-to-back Elite Eights as a fifth seed or lower, that's tough to do. You talk about how these Miami Hurricanes are gelling and they're moving the ball, playing together. I think that's Jim Larinaga. I think you got to give a shout out to the coach right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving along to the other Sweet 16 game in this Midwest Regional, we saw Texas beat Xavier by 12, a dirty dozen, 83-71. Texas led by 24
Yep.
in this game. This wasn't really anything to watch. Texas shot 53% from the
Yeah.
field, 58% from deep. And Xavier, see you next year.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, fuck. Texas is that game was very impressive to me for Texas. I was like, there's no way Miami's taking Texas out. But then lo and behold, what do we got in this next coming game? Texas Miami.
Lo and behold, on
Whew.
Sunday, we saw Texas and Miami. Miami won by 7, 88-81. This baby was a doozy. Miami shot
Oh,
57.
what a good game.
Miami shot 57% from the floor, 28 of 32 from the line, which is 88% from the line. They got it done. Texas, I think we'd be surprised to hear, shot 40% from three, 10 of 25. They made 10 threes, whereas Miami only made two of 8. They shot 2 of 8 from three. Miami scored.
Threes in the whole game.
Miami only had 2 threes in the whole game, whereas Texas hit 10. Yet
Can you say
Miami
that
still
again?
wins by 7.
One more time. One more time for the viewers. How many
One more time.
threes?
One more time for everybody. Texas shot 10 of 25, where Miami shot 2 for 8. Yet Miami still won. Not all about the threes, boys. Not all about the threes. They got to the line. They mixed it up in the middle. Again, all 5 starters for Miami had scored in double figures. This was the game we saw Jordan Miller shoot 7 of 7 from the field and 13 of 13 from the line. He had a perfect game, senior forward Jordan Miller. Ben, Texas had a 13-point lead in this game. They blew it. How does that happen?
Man, I wish I knew the answer. See, I don't know what happened. I think Miami just knows how to fucking stay in games and not give the fuck up. I really don't know how they claw back into this one. I was looking back at it, looking at the clips and stuff. Miami they were down 10 with 1 minute left in the second half. They kind of hung out around they were down 10 to 13 until 8 minutes left. They were down 10 to 13 points like the whole game.
Yeah.
I don't have one player that I can point out and because I would have wrote that down. If there was one player that took over, I think it was the whole team as a team effort. They just didn't give up. They refused. So they were over it. They did it last year. They said, "I'm not doing it again this year. I want to hit the Final Four." They made it happen, man. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm still very impressed that they beat Texas with how good Texas is. That was an incredible win for them.
Incredible win. I think I got a fun nugget for you here, Ben.
Yeah, I hope you have a better answer because I really don't know who did that for him. It was like
Jim Larinaga, Coach L.
Yeah,
I got
the coach,
Hall of Famer, top 10 coach in the game right now. But a fun nugget for you, Ben.
Yeah.
Fun nugget. 5 seeds all time in the tournament. 5 seeds against 2
They do
seeds.
not do well. They do not do well in general. I promise you that. I know that from the history of the tournament. They do not do well. 5 seeds, not a
let me
good seed.
let me give you this though. 5 seeds against 2 seeds. So 5 seeds against
Mm-hmm.
2 seeds, that'd be an Elite Eight matchup. They're 5-1 all time against 2 seeds, 5 seeds. So
Are they really?
five
Oh,
and one against 2 seeds. So remember
no
that
way. I
next
would
year.
have never guessed that.
Remember that next year in your bracket.
Hmm.
5 seeds are 5-1 all time against 2
Maybe what
seeds.
it is, I would like to know the stats on 5 versus 4 seeds because I don't feel like the 5 seeds very often beat the 4 seeds. I don't know if it's just me, but
Could
I
be.
don't often feel like I've seen 5 seeds get far.
Yeah. Yeah. Not often. I'd like to know the stats on that too.
I could be wrong. I'd like to see that. But
Moving into the last regional here, the West Regional. We saw an ass beating on Thursday night. UConn beat the shit out of Arkansas by 23. It was 88-65. UConn shot 57% from the floor, 45% from deep, 81% from the line. They were plus
I
12 on the
didn't.
boards. They were plus
I didn't
12
see
on the
anybody's shirt
boards.
come off.
Yeah. Eric Musselman kept his shirt on, yeah, as he should. You should take
Yeah,
that shirt off and
yeah.
wash it and then probably burn it in a bonfire this summer, Eric, because you got your ass beat.
Whew.
UConn plus 12 on the boards. They UConn won the assist battle 22-7. Arkansas only had 7 assists in this game. Looks like a little bit of ISO ball, a little one-on-one. We got Nick Smith Jr. already declaring for the NBA draft. See you later. Arkansas, we'll see you next year.
Yeah, and we might. They have some players and a coach that's passionate. Apparently, I mean, he's
He's
very
very
passionate about taking.
passionate. He's
That's for
very
sure.
passionate and he's confident.
Yeah. Hey, great fucking win over Kansas. But what happened in this game, man? What? I'm sorry, you should not lose by 23 to a 4 seed ever. I don't give a fuck what your seed is. Nobody should lose by 23 points to a 4 seed, but people are
Ask
doing it
him.
left and right against UConn because that's not a 4 seed, bro.
That's not your typical
UConn is not
4.
a 4 seed. What
No.
happened? I don't know what happened mid-season for UConn to get them to get that low.
Yeah.
But early in the season, they were kicking ass, and they had a stretch there where something happened. I don't know what it was, but they deserve to be a 2 seed for sure. I mean, not deserved, but they, as far as actual talent wise, that is the most incredibly talented 4 seed I think I've seen in the history of the tournament. Honestly,
Definitely. Definitely underseeded. We'll get into them a little more later though. The
yeah,
other Sweet 16 in the West Regional, we were all waiting for this rubber match, kind of a little West Coast rivalry we have now, Gonzaga and UCLA. UCLA had a 13-point
great
halftime
game.
lead.
Whew.
13-point lead. Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez, they were taking care of the ball. They were balling in the first half. But then Gonzaga came back, took a
Yeah,
10 took a
they
10
they
point
were
lead, and then they let it slide away. And who was it? I think it was Amari Bailey who hit a 3 late, and then of course we saw the pitchback play to Julian Strother for the game-winning 3. Boy, this was another classic.
that was a shot to remember, bro. I the funniest part to one thing that stood out to me about this tournament in general and the Sweet 16 is the 2 best games of the tournament were all teams that didn't make the fucking Final Four. Like, so the Michigan State Kansas State game was gold,
Yeah,
and then they got their asses beat, and then this game was gold, and then they got beat. So it's interesting to me. Like, these 2 games were probably my 2 top, like, entertainment wise, the 2 most interesting games: the Kansas State and Michigan State, and then the UCLA Gonzaga game. Those were both incredible games that will go down in history. And then it's interesting to see that they both lost, and not one of those 4 teams has made the Final Four. So I don't know what that says, but it's interesting. Incredible game. UCLA Gonzaga. Holy shit! I don't know what happened. UCLA went nuts offensively for them. Like, they're not usually that strong offensively. I mean, obviously Gonzaga is kind of weak defensively, in my opinion. But
yeah.
they weren't going to keep hitting you. Like you said, I think at halftime you texted me and said, they're not going to keep hitting this much. And I said,
I
yeah, but UCLA is going to win this game. They're up by too much.
that's
I was wrong.
that,
I'll be the
that's a
first to admit it.
that's a good memory, Ben. Yeah, at first half, Gonzaga was getting beat, and I jumped on FanDuel.
You hammered it at halftime, I think. If I remember right, you said you put some money on Gonzaga and you must have made some money there.
Shout out FanDuel. I jumped on, and I said, no way is UCLA going to keep this up in the second half, and I jumped on Gonzaga, and
Yeah.
they ended up winning by 3. Just to wrap up this game here, Gonzaga won the rebounding battle 50-26. 50-26 was the rebounding battle. They were +9 offensively.
How much did
UCLA
Timmy have? Do you have that written
Timmy
down?
Timmy went for 36 and 13. He shot
30,
16 of 24. 16 of
36.
24. 36. He was an animal. Drew Timmy, first team All American. You heard it here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports Podcast. First team All American, Drew Timmy.
I mean, I like Timmy. I'm not a fan. I root against him just because
Oh,
sick of Gonzaga, man. If you're gonna win, do it. Stop fucking talking about it and do it. And once again, we get proven right. He's not gonna win. They're never gonna win. But join a real conference is my other thing. If you're gonna be winning, what? How many fucking games a year?
too
I
many.
don't care. You're not
30.
Maryland
30 every year.
That's what I'm saying is Maryland on a shit year could beat you on any fucking given day. And like
Damn.
teams that suck could beat you just because they have so much more experience. You're playing who? St. Mary's? St. Mary's. You're gonna consider St. Mary's a fucking
5 seed.
school that I'm scared of now? Okay.
5 seed.
Yeah, we'll join a real conference, then we'll talk. But Timmy, holy fuck, I can't say enough about 36 points in that game against Jaime Jaquez,
Yeah.
and great game. But he did almost choke that entire game. He broke 2 free throws, bricked the shit out of them. Not even close. Late free throws. I was laughing. I was literally laughing as to how bad they were. He almost lost that game for him. And then what the fuck was that final 3 by what is his name? Strother? Strother?
Yeah. With about 8 seconds to go, he just launches it from the logo.
Who
My jaw was on the floor. My jaw was on the floor.
When he made it, I was like, okay, well, this goes down in history as one of the fucking best shots of all time. But if he'd have missed that, what would we be saying right now?
Oh, you're a queef.
Whose call was it? Was that just his, like, well, I'm open? Or do you think that was a play?
I guess that was a play that they run a lot in practice, and Mark Few said that he has the option.
He usually hits okay.
He's got the option to
with
attack.
Results.
Yeah,
Jesus, that's some balls. That is some balls to pull up the fucking March Madness logo. Like, I don't even know how many feet out that is. Like 35 feet out.
Deep,
bro. Nailed it.
Just one of the best shots, definitely, of this tournament, and it will be shown for years to go forward. Yeah. Julian Strother. Just to wrap up this game, you mentioned Jaime Jaquez. He shot 12 of 25. He had 29 points and 11 boards. He was banging.
Great fucking performance. Can we also one shout out to Tiger Campbell for almost fucking bringing that back to overtime? And that he had 1.5 seconds maybe. Great pass, great shot with 1 point. I thought that was going in for a second, man. I was like, this is gonna be like the game of the century. Like if that had gone in and had gone to overtime, whew. Yeah, great game.
Great game. Last thing on it, we talked about Creighton running out of juice, only playing their starters. Well, I think the same thing happened here to the Bruins of UCLA. Gonzaga
a little deeper.
Gonzaga got them 19-4 in bench points and 50-19 in bench minutes. So can we
segue real quick to what happened next? Because holy fuck, boys!
The Elite Eight game in the West
Region.
Regional.
Fuck! If you're not impressed by UConn after that smackaroo from the best offensive team in the country, that team got absolutely butt fucked. I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it. Okay, UConn bent them over and did not quit. They didn't stop. They were crying. They were bleeding and crying on the floor, and it was over. That game was the biggest smackdown of the tournament, and that's Gonzaga. That is Drew Timme, 36 point in the last game. Drew Timme crying
Oh yeah,
about his last
tears,
game of the.
tears.
I mean, there is no other where they dismantled that team. They took them apart and just they didn't have a chance. There was like the funny part is the first half wasn't that far. I think they even had like a 5-7 point lead at halftime or something. It wasn't that
Yeah,
far off from
yeah.
like they got to come back. Second half completely destroyed them. They were bye. They it was like they were so they were demoralized. They knew the game was over with 10 minutes left. They had 10 minutes that they were like,
Oh,
it's over.
garbage time.
Just swish. It was an incredible fucking performance by UConn.
This final score was 82-54. This 28-point margin is the
Whew.
largest margin in an Elite Eight game since 1992.
Bro, if that's not a reason to get behind UConn in these final games, I don't know what is. The best offensive team in the country just lost by like what 20? How many? 20 what?
28.
28, almost 30 points, and they had their fucking everybody had their subs in for the last 3 minutes of that game.
You
It
you
was over at 10 minutes left, and they knew it. Tammy was about on the verge of fucking tears with 6 minutes left.
Timmy had his tissues out with about 12 minutes to
I don't
go in
blame.
the half.
I'm not giving him shit. I'm just saying like that was an incredible performance by UConn.
UConn was +8 on the boards, +8 in assists. You keep talking about Gonzaga's offense here. They shot 33% from the floor, 10% from deep, and
They were rattled.
55% from the line.
They were so rattled.
55% from the line.
They were shooken up. But when UConn kept hitting shot after shot after shot after shot back to back, they were rattled, man. They didn't know. It was like they could see the writing on the wall, and there was no. They knew there was no coming back, and they were just. We've all been. If you've played basketball, you've all been there to the point where you're like, well, shit, man. There's no sugarcoating this. This game's over, and in your head, it's over. They were so rattled they couldn't even make a goddamn shot, man. It was bad.
They were definitely rattled. We the 54 points that Gonzaga scored here was by far their season low. Their other low was 63 against Baylor. Yeah. So 9 points lower than their season low. They got their ass smacked, sending the UConn Huskies back to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, and Timmy had that one, the foul call that I think some people were upset about. It was a foul. That's how I feel about it, and that's what I was going to talk about earlier. Is like, I feel like this isn't the NBA. I don't give a shit if this is one of your star players or I don't care. This isn't the NBA. This is the NCAA. If it is a foul, and that's what I like about the NBA. If it's a foul, it should be called a foul. I don't care what the situation is in the game for the most part. It should be called a foul. And that was a foul on Timmy. I mean, looking back at like the complaints or whatever, like, no, like don't do what you did. You had 3 fouls. Why even fucking risk it? You know what I'm saying? Like, not worth the 2 points, give 2 points. Yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
All right, so that sets us up with our Final Four matchups for tomorrow, Saturday. Oh boy, it's a juicy one as always. This Elite Eight that we were set with here on Saturday and Sunday Elite Eight. This was the first Elite Eight that we had no number 1 seeds in the history of the NCAA tournament. No number 1 seeds made the Elite Eight for the first time. And it's this crazy.
No 2 seeds. No 2 seeds, no 3 seeds. Crazy.
And speaking of 1, 2, and 3, this is the first Final Four without a 1, 2, or 3. So we're making we're making history every step along the way that we go. And this Final Four, the total number of seeds, if you add it up, UConn's a 4, Miami's a 5, SDSU's a 5, FAU's a 9.
Highest number.
You add that up, it's 23, second highest. second highest ever
Oh,
Final
second.
Four
Oh,
that we've had.
that's
So
actually impressed me that.
pretty shocking tournament that we've had this year, and it hasn't left us wanting more. Ben,
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a better Final Four than people are making out to be.
I think so too, and I think a very tight game that's going to be back and forth, possibly a one possession game at the end, is the first game tomorrow night. We got the Aztecs of San Diego State taking on the Owls of Florida Atlantic. Ben,
Yeah.
does the Owls run with Dusty May stop here in the Final Four, or can they move on?
I am Team Owl on this one. I might have hinted at that earlier. I don't think that San Diego State is a Final Four team. I think Creighton deserved it just as much or more. I'm no offense, no offense to them. I think they're a good team. I just am shocked that they made it this far. I really am. Not that I'm not shocked that clearly Florida Atlantic is a shock, but after looking back on all of the film of all the games, I'm more impressed with Florida Atlantic, both defensively and offensively. San Diego State is that annoying team that pisses you off the entire game. That's how they beat Alabama. That's how they beat pretty much all the team they've beaten is just by pissing them off on the defensive end and just being relentless. And they refuse to give in. And they're like stocky dudes
Yeah, put
that
together.
just play bully ball defense, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, but Florida Florida Atlantic is impressed me with in multiple ways. I mean, it seems like to me that they're one of those teams that's like they're in a conference that nobody knows, so nobody really watched them until it was like now, and they're actually really good, like better than San Diego State, in my opinion. Like how many losses do they have? 3, 2.
Florida Atlantic is 35-3.
I talk shit about teams that aren't in a real conference, but I think this is that exception where it's like, well, I think if they had been in a good conference, they still would be in the tournament, and they still would have had this many, maybe not as many wins, but they'd be in the tournament. Um, I don't have any players offhand that I can shout out. It's like a team effort for them. It's like they have a couple people that just like rain threes. They have that one dude in the middle, the white guy. I can't remember his name
From
offhand.
Russia. Golden.
Was Golden.
Yeah, from Russia.
Golden is underratedly good. He's one of those people that I think can guard anybody in the center position. So yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned for San Diego State. If you have any money on San Diego State on this game, I don't. I would cash out, but that's just me. What do you think?
You bring up the 3-point shooting, and I think this game is going to come down to if
Yeah.
FAU can make threes. Just to go through San Diego State's opponents for this tournament, their 3-point shooting. Starting off with the Cougars of Charleston. Charleston shot 5 of 24 from three. Then Furman shot 6 of 26. Alabama, as we mentioned, shot 3 of 27. And then
Mm-hmm.
Creighton shot 2 of 17 from three. So on the tournament, San Diego State is holding opponents to 16 for 94 from three, which is 17%. So San Diego State is the second team to hold all four opponents on their way to the Final Four to less than 25% shooting from three. San Diego State is holding their opponents to 17% shooting from three in the tournament. The leader of this is the 2013 Syracuse team that made the run to the Final Four. They held opponents to 15% on their way in their first four games. Now we know the Aztecs can win close games. They're 9-1 in games decided by 5 points or less. But you know what, Ben, I gotta agree with you. I'm rolling with Dusty May. I'm rolling with the big man from Russia, Golden, John L. Davis. These boys average 8.7 threes per game. The team is shooting 37.2% from three, and they got 4 players
Yeah.
over 36.5% from three. These guys are going to knock
Yeah.
down enough threes. Aztecs can't hang with them. I'm rolling with Florida Atlantic, I believe, as the only 9 seed to ever make the championship game.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to root against them. I'm curious. So, as far as do you think San Diego State's opponents have just been not shooting well, or do you think it's their defense that has been really kicking ass?
According to Ken Palm, right now, as we sit here today, they're the 4th ranked defense in the nation. So you have to tip your hat to
I mean, I
that
want to give credit
defense.
credit due. I want to give credit where credit's due, but I do feel like, especially with some of the teams they played, like Creighton, Alabama and Creighton are both very good 3-point shooting teams, like very good 3-point shooting teams. So I don't, yeah, I don't know whether to give them like full credit or if it was like an off game for both of those teams randomly. I would be interested to see because I mean it could go either way, man. If I agree, if FAU is not hitting shots, San Diego State is they've proven over and over again that they are feisty as shit. They piss people off. They don't lose, man. I don't know. I'm on FAU's. If I had to put money on it, I would put it on FAU, but it's definitely a toss up for me.
Toss up.
I think either way they're going to lose in the championship, but that could be wrong too, man. It's chaos. Oh, like I've been saying all year, it's chaos.
We both like FAU to move on. And in the other semifinal matchup tomorrow night, we got the Hurricanes of Miami out of the ACC to take on the UConn Huskies out of the Big East. This one is obviously the juicy one tomorrow. You know, you got power conference schools here. Ben, we know your champion is the Huskies, and you're not getting off them. Anything else that you have on these UConn Huskies against the Hurricanes?
Bro, I know you're saying I'm not getting off them, but I'm second guessing it, man. I really am right now.
Oh,
On a roll. If anybody's going to beat UConn this year, or not this year, this tournament. I think it's Miami. I think if UConn wins the first game against Miami, I'm going to hammer the shit out of that second game of the championship in favor of UConn. I think UConn is going to destroy San Diego State or Florida Atlantic. But I'm a little bit more concerned about Miami based solely on just the wide array of talent and types of talent that we have. So, I mean, I know I already kind of talked about them. I don't know. Wong, Miller, and Poplar to me is like a trio of very athletic, long, lean, smooth NBA style
smooth,
players that can
smooth.
drive, shoot, they can hit shots, they can drive, make timely plays. And then you have this guy Pack that doesn't miss, and that's somebody you always want to have on your team. 7 threes in the last game, I think, or was that 2 games ago?
Uh, Miami
Pack, I think it was the last
two
game
game
where he hit seven.
against
Two,
Houston.
I
Against
mean, either
Houston.
way, when you hit 7 threes in a game, that's gonna get me a little bit. That's gonna pique my interest. Then we have my man Omir in the middle, which I think is a centerpiece for Miami. He's not that tall, but he's beefy and he is very. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wish I had the stats in front of me as to how tall and how
I
much he
got you.
weighs and whatnot. Yeah,
Omir
yeah.
Omir's a 6'7", 250 sophomore.
6'7" is not tall. That's
No.
my one concern. They don't really have they have a lot of length on the forward and guard positions in Miami. But that center they're going up against Klingon. He's 7'2". That's how many inches
You
that
want
were
this?
that were given up?
You want
Math?
this?
That's like an
Donovan
8-inch difference.
Donovan Clingan 7'2", 265, and Adama
Yeah.
Sanogo is 6'9", 245.
Yeah, it's a lot of size. I like UConn in the game, and I'm gonna stick with it. Part of me really wanted to switch sides because I want to root for Miami in
Flip
many
flopping,
ways.
flip flopping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do it because I want the money. I have I have so much money. If UConn wins the whole thing, man, I win over $1,000. So
Easy, easy.
I'm gonna be rooting for UConn just for my
Hell
wallet.
yeah,
But
hell yeah.
my heart is not with UConn. Like I've seen enough UConn victories over my years that I don't give a shit about that team. Fuck Connecticut. I'd like to see Miami do well, but it's very hard when you look at how they dismantled Gonzaga. How do you root against that? I mean,
Yeah,
how do you bet against? I can
yeah.
root against it all day. How do you bet against that? That is an impressive, one of the most impressive victories in the tournament that I've seen in
Oh,
years. So
no doubt.
yeah, I'm team Huskies at this point, but Omir is a force to be reckoned with down there as far as getting rebounds. So I'd like to see if he can do the same thing. I mean, he's who did he just beat? Who did they just beat? They beat
Texas.
Houston, followed by Texas. Those are two teams that are just as good as UConn, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Maybe better.
Oh yeah.
So it could happen, but I can't. After that Gonzaga performance, I can't. I cannot bet against them.
Ben, I gotta agree with you here. UConn is the betting favorite, no doubt about it, of these four teams. As we sit here right now, Ken Palm has Miami as the 104th ranked defense. You know, Miami is a great offensive team, and they've gotten hot at the right time. They got great guards. Guards can leave Dion March, Jim Larinaga. But I think the train stops here, and UConn's just so dominant right now. I I gotta take them. I
They're
gotta take
making
them.
people look stupid, man.
They're making people
They're
look
making
stupid.
great teams look stupid, and that's hard to bet against.
UConn going on. We both have UConn going on to the championship to take on the Owls of FAU. UConn along the way here, they beat Iona by 24. They beat St. Mary's by 15. They beat Arkansas by 23, and that ass beating of Gonzaga by 28
What
in the
was the
Elite Eight.
score on that Gonzaga game? One more time for me.
82 to 54. They beat the shit out of Gonzaga. And now they go on to take on FAU, and we love the Cinderella story. We love the guys out of Conference USA, the Owls out of Boca Raton. You know, when you came to visit us in West Palm Beach, Boca Raton is just south of West Palm Beach. The FAU
Yeah.
Owls, they're right. They weren't too far from us down there. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for him, man. And hey, I know I'm mostly rooting for my wallet, but I'm not gonna be mad if Florida Atlantic wins the whole thing. Like
you
that's
can't be mad.
incredible.
You can't be
That's
mad.
like yeah. So I'm secretly rooting for everybody but UConn, but like my wallet says UConn's winning it, and that's where I'm at. I mean, I feel like they just they're just on such a tear. I mean, they're just taking teams, dismantling them, destroying them from the inside out, and nobody can really compete with that. And hey, I've been proven wrong before many times, and it could happen. But I'm not gonna. There's no reason for me to put money against UConn at this point. They've proven over and over again that they're going to win by 20 plus to everybody they play.
Everybody. Uh,
Plus, at least, at least.
I gotta agree with you, Ben, that I agree that UConn's gonna take down the Owls. I think everybody here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast, I think we're all rooting for the Owls. I think we'd love to see that. I think we'd love to see.
Yeah,
I think Dusty May just signed a contract extension, so he's not gonna leave. He's gonna come back next year, try to get the Owls back in the dance. But I do believe they will be taken
oh, yeah.
down by Danny Hurley, one of the Hurley brothers and the Yukon Huskies.
Don't
The
talk
dom-
about the other one.
well, the other one we know, Bobby Hurley, he eats ass over at
Yeah,
the Sun
we
Devils.
we've
He's
been
an ass
out.
eater. But
He
Danny
definitely
Hurley,
he eats dirty ass. Like not like it's not even like oh this guy eats ass. Because I've had multiple people that be like, well, I saw that you said that somebody eats ass. I'm like, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Like, well, not in this guy's case. This ass is so shitty. Like it's like nobody's wiped
yeah,
in years. Yeah,
not
nobody likes it.
showered, not showered, no
Yeah,
bidet.
I feel like in this day and age, eating ass can be like a reward at this point, right? Yeah. But no, not in Bobby Hurley's case. He's eating dirty, shitty ass. left off the street, man.
Just Bobby Hurley's eating bum ass, huh? Just
He
bums.
is eating unwiped ass left and right.
Well, take a shower every once in a while. Take a
My
shower.
thing, you know, because I watched his interaction with his brother, and he's all like, "Oh yeah," he's dying inside.
Oh, you
His
have to
brother
be
got
jealous. Jealous.
I just don't like him. I don't know what it is. Like he just seems like that coach that I wouldn't want to. If he was my coach, I would do whatever he told me not to do. I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck you. I'm doing the opposite."
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Sun Devils over there in the Pac-12, but I think
I have no
here in
reason to hate him. I just don't.
yeah,
I don't
fuck
like
him.
his face.
Fuck Bobby.
Same reason
Fuck
I
him.
don't like Dickinson and all fuckers. I don't like people that have a temper for no reason. When you're getting shitty at refs for
Ray
like calls
McCaffrey.
that fuck Fran, yeah. I just don't like people that get shitty at refs for clearly no reason. Like if you're documented getting shitty about a call that I can go back and watch the video and see that it was a foul, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Find a new fucking battle to fight, man.
You're right.
That's just annoying to me.
You're
Anyway,
right.
moving on.
You're right. Fuck Ray
Bobby
McCaffrey.
He eats dirty, shitty ass. And he's jealous of his brother.
Just to conclude here on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast, where you can subscribe on YouTube. We both got the Huskies over the Owls in the championship game. Great season for Florida Atlantic.
Nobody's happy about it. But yeah.
We hope they can take home the title and cut down the nets. But we think Adama Sanogo, Jordan Hawkins,
Go Owls.
The Huskies are better.
Man. Sanogo is next level. We didn't
Definitely.
talk enough about Sanogo on this podcast tonight, man. He's Sanogo is a force down there.
Very well could be the most outstanding player of the tournament for sure. He's been dominant. Ben,
his ability to pass out of the double team is my most that's what I'm most impressed with on him.
He's got those shoulders on him. He got those shoulders on him out here. Yep. See, my shoulders are right here. His shoulders are out here. That's how big Sanogo is.
He's a big boy.
Ben, I want to appreciate you coming on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast again for this Final Four preview. Anything else you got for the people before we get out of here?
Hey, go Terps next year. I mean,
top 3 in the Big Ten.
That's all I got.
Top 3 in the Big Ten.
Big Ten, yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we'll be looking forward to these games tomorrow, championship game on Monday. And then after that, starting next week, we're going to be moving into the NFL, and we're going to be hitting the NFL a lot this spring and this summer and a little bit of baseball. NFL draft here is end of April, so we're going to be definitely talking about that these upcoming weeks. So definitely excited. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate any views, any comments, and we'll talk to you next week on the Don't Tell Mama Sports podcast.